show, 5-Star Fam. I'm AJ, and this is Marc. Before we get into it, become part of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube. This segment is sponsored by Thinking Man Tavern, a cozy Decatur neighborhood pub. Grab a tasty beverage from a wide variety of selections and a plate of something delicious from the menu. To go, check out Thinking Man Tavern. Welcome to another 5-Stripe Weekly episode, and yes, we finally have a match that actually counts to talk about, and yes, definitely, well, it's a full Benz, it's a, very exciting affair, I would say, but yeah, ended up 3-1 to Atlanta United against Sporting KC, and we finally have a, not only we had a match at the Benz for the first time for the first match of the season, but also we won, which is a little not the norm as well.
Right.
Usually not so good for that first match. So, our preseason definitely seemed to have done us some good, which is, quite a departure from years past. But, goals from Luiz,
Right.
goals from Luiz Araujo, Dom Dwyer, and of course Caleb Wiley. That sealed the deal for Atlanta United to walk away with all 3 points. But before we get into all the goals, let's hear your takeaways from this match, Marc.
Yeah, sure. I will say I think overall how the match played out, I was a little surprised at how open it was, given the profile of the managers, right? And so for Pineda in particular, with him being a Seattle assistant, Seattle typically over the years, especially under Schmetzer, has played on the counter, and so, I mean, we did, but I guess Kansas Sporting KC were a bit more open as well. And, we'll get into, I guess, the details of the match and how it played out, but Sporting KC did eventually end up having the majority of possession. I think you can point to multiple reasons as to why that was the case, but one of them appears to be Araujo leaving the game. So it's a very interesting match overall for a week 1 match. But definitely have to echo your sentiments in terms of we don't usually start well. We don't usually start this well, and it does seem like preseason, like, translating that preseason form into the regular season has actually come off. Now, it's also the first time since 2018 that we're not starting in the Champions League. So maybe that has something to do with it as well. I will say I don't miss it. I've been watching, I think it's a decently interesting competition. We've already seen, I guess, a bit of an upset with Montreal prevailing over Santos, but to be honest, I don't miss it all that much. So
it does set us back a little bit slightly at times, right? Because there is that, like, you play that first game, and if it doesn't go well, then it kind of sets the tone a little bit, and then it is
right.
that, like, you want that momentum from day one, and that's where you need, like, kind of luck and favorable draws and all that, especially if you're in Champions League, with that. Now, I think Sporting KC playing on the road and against us, it definitely played into our hands a little bit because they are a team that likes to possess. Pretty much, we are, if I do recall, both us and them were pretty much 1 and 2 in possession in the league last year, and so that I think is fairly obvious in how and why it was an open game, in that you have 2 teams that are trying to do their thing, and I think we actually played more on the counter in the first half than they did, actually, and so it actually worked in our favor for sure, because we were definitely more aggressive. We played with more verticality, and with that first goal from Luiz Araujo, it was a little bit of that where our forwards, Teen Wolf and Tyler Wolf, played in Josef Martinez, and then Josef Martinez with a deft back heel flick plays in Luiz Araujo, who is able to hold off his man and chip Tim Melia, and it got some consideration for the MLS goal of the week. It is up for it, but Yimi Chara's with the bicycle is probably going to win it, and it probably rightfully should. Even though, like, if we're somehow able to make that kind of a miracle and win this one out, I would feel a little bit sheepish. But
yeah, I mean, no, yeah, they I noticed they changed the format of the voting too, because now it's like it does appear to be a straight Twitter poll instead of like the link to the website, and so it'd be interesting to see if that changes how these polls play out. But I don't know. I still have faith in the Atlanta United fan base, so we'll see.
Yeah, and I think it's that too. It's like everyone's gonna have to have Twitter or something, because at that point, no one else. Like, you can't be a Facebook user and be voting there. You just pretty much have to hop on there somehow.
Right. Unless they run different polls.
Yeah, and you take an aggregate or something. Like, that'll be interesting. Yeah, probably not. But I mean, bold if they want to do that. Someone's gonna have to do all that math, and I pity that, actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whoever has to do that. But moving on from that, in that second goal, it was unfortunate in between where Luiz Araujo, he did pull his hamstring. He was down for a second momentarily, and then a second time he could not continue. And definitely hope that Araujo is not out super long term. A hamstring probably will at least have him out for maybe a month, maybe two, and that definitely is making me very sad, and definitely puts our predictions from the last episode into a little bit of a complete upside down. But either way, Dom Dwyer comes on for Luiz Araujo, and wow, there was someone that said on Twitter, and I think we were all thinking it in our heads, did not think that I would be cheering a Dom Dwyer goal this season, and lo and behold, here we are. But I mean, Dom Dwyer, he okay, maybe his first touch for his actual first touch in the game wasn't the best, and maybe kind of lulled them into some false sense of like, oh yeah, Dwyer, he might be alright. We can, like, he was sitting in some acres of space, and he wasn't even like sitting on the wing, like on the touchline or anything. Like, he was like kind of like maybe like 10 yards away from their box, and they were like, nah, he's good. Yep.
Yeah.
But
right.
And but then Josef Martinez, with another assist, is able to find the long ball to Dom Dwyer this time, and Dom Dwyer skins his man and comes onto his left, his favorite left foot, and blasts it home. And he scores against one of his former teams, and it's pandemonium. It's like it's one of those. Okay, yeah. If Dom Dwyer's back, okay then, we will take that.
Yeah.
All freaking day. But well, what were your thoughts on at least those two goals first of all, and then we'll get to that last goal.
Yeah, first of all, from Dom Dwyer, I guess that's really great mentorship from him, scoring that goal like that. I'm sure the kids will really appreciate that. It's great to see that. I mean, like, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I did say I don't think he's done. And you can see that, but that the way he took that goal was very encouraging. It was instinctive. It looked natural. And yeah, he knew what he wanted to do, and he did it with a plum. It is tough. Like, possessing the ball in the box in general is tough. Like, you're just not going to have that many touches when you get the ball, and so you kind of have to. It's kind of like playing in the low post in basketball, right? It's like you kind of have to know what you're going to do and just kind of get into it, and of course execute it with good technique. And I think that Dwyer did that on the goal. So like you said, it's unfortunate, of course, because Araujo came out, and we'll have to see how long he's out for. With hamstring injuries, it's always tough. They should probably play it safe since it's the beginning of the season anyway. So, I'm thinking it's closer to the 8 weeks that's been floated out there. But yeah, I'll hop on what I said before. If Dom Dwyer is able to give us valuable minutes, and the occasional goal, that's great. That's definitely out earning his salary at that point, which is all you can ask for, really, in terms of putting a roster together.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, and so Dom Dwyer hadn't scored since 2019, and that's a beautiful thing when he's scoring, and he's you can see the passion after that goal too. That he. Yeah, definitely, a monkey off his back a bit, and you can see there's already a little bit of a connection between Dwyer and Josef Martinez. There always seemed like, and I said this last episode too, where basically, even though they were on opposite sides, there seemed to be a mutual respect, especially when, Dom Dwyer, with Orlando City. He was almost going, goal for goal against Josef Martinez in that first match at the Benz way back when, right. In that 3-3 draw. And, it always seemed like they, kind of at least kept tabs on each other. And, now they're teammates and combining for, a really well-taken goal. And so, Dwyer, definitely a guy that's, it's not someone we expected, but it's really great to see. And and in terms of Josef Martinez with that 100th start, the 2 assists ain't too shabby to start a season. So it might be a little bit, hopefully not too much, a little bit of a false 9, Josef, maybe. And I don't know who's gonna be the other. But yeah, go ahead.
No, one thing I was gonna say, with Josef getting the 2 assists and getting on MLS Team of the Week with that performance, Josef has built his profile as a goal scorer. Of course, I think it really started with 2018 and the MVP season, but I think the dependence on his goal scoring really started after that. We've always seemed to have this issue of just not having enough goal scorers overall. At least since then. And so it'll be interesting to see if we are able to have other people chip in with the goals, if Josef will adjust his game. Because I mean, there are times when I see him, even like the last couple of seasons, where he's not just purely doing the striker things. There are times he might drop in because he wants to touch the ball, and he's doing that thing the strikers do when they get frustrated. But also I think he has that profile of being an attacking midfielder, or being a winger in his previous career, I guess, if you want to call it that. But so he may have those instincts within him, and I just wonder if we would actually end up seeing a more complete player, and an MVP candidate, just like we were saying about Araujo.
Yeah, and so hopefully, knock on wood, none of the other stuff happened after we say that again. But
right. Yeah.
But
yeah.
But also involved in that, in the third goal in a way, because he comes off and Caleb Wiley, the homegrown, the 17-year-old, comes in, and minutes later, you have Caleb Wiley icing the game for Atlanta United, his hometown club. His father owns Oz Pizza. They, did some kind of soccer in the streets. Little, kind of turf pitch next to their restaurants. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's a player who actually, this is his boyhood club. Like, it's wild to actually think that, like, that's possible right now. But yeah, I mean, you have a 17-year-old. I mean, so he was 11 years old when it came out. Like, Atlanta United became a team. Like, it's truly astounding stuff. Yeah. It is. This is like Mighty Ducks territory in terms of like unbelievable. In terms of like okay, yeah, all right. This is like, you write fiction about this stuff, and this is real life. Apparently, what universe are we living in? I'm not sure, but basically, a 17-year-old scored, in his debut. And he took this ice cold. Like, there is ice in his veins the way he took this, because like, he didn't try to power it past Tim Melia. Like, Tim Melia is a good goalkeeper, and the fact that he just slots it home, and it's like, I don't know how to describe this, is like, it's like it's not even a worm burner. It's just like, he just passed it in, but it was like as finessed as you like. And my God, it's it was truly. I had to check his number like 3 times in the stadium when I was tweeting it out, just to make sure that, what did Wiley actually, what?
Right.
So yeah, it's definitely craziness. Where were you? What were your emotions, or your feelings at that time?
Yeah, I was at home. No, I was shocked. I mean, and so if you look at it, like I said, I was home, right? So I was able to see it on the broadcast, and it's 3 touches. So, like, obviously it's a long pass over the top. His first touch actually really, it kills the ball. Like,
it was a Moreno through ball, but like, and what a through ball.
Right, exactly. And the first touch, like, basically kills the ball, right? He has control. Second touch, I think his second touch came a little bit quicker than he expected, and it looked like the ball was going to run away from him a little bit. But here's the thing, this is what really was like, that I couldn't wrap my mind around. He was already running, and then he ran even faster to catch up with the ball. Yeah. And then running that fast, like, having such a delicate finish. Like, and it wasn't, I was at like, for a split second, I thought it was going to be too soft and a defender would catch up to it. Right. And it was perfect. Like, perfectly weighted. Past the keeper, got away from the defender. Just brilliant for 17-year-old. And it's just like, man, we just sold a homegrown left back to Bundesliga, and here's this 17-year-old making his debut after the other left back who also had a good game. It's a lot of positives. This is the kind of thing you want to see. But just going back to the angle of the homegrown and the 17-year-old and the boy who grew up supporting his club, like, as I've talked about before on this podcast, like, we're seeing that trend in MLS. And to be honest, like, when I see, I can't, like, a Cade Howell, for example, get his shine or something like that, it's like, oh man, like, that it is a part of you that's like, that's great for the league, that's great for the sport in the US, and I want Atlanta very much to be a part of that. And I think that MLS teams, especially the bigger MLS teams, that should be part of their ambition, is bringing homegrown talent through, because at the end of the day, America is so big, you have to figure that there are highly talented players throughout. And so, I'm very curious to see how, well, first of all, I hope this pipeline continues, and I will be very curious to see how homegrown players in particular do in other leagues, in their careers in general, because they're Atlanta. At the end of the day, like, it's Atlanta, and this is like one of the best parts of having a hometown team.
Indeed. And credit where credit is due. The academy and the front office setting it up. Definitely they have done an amazing job in that pipeline, and so definitely that's massive. And someone that at least anyway, one match in preseason as well. Looks to be a good addition as well is Andrew Gutman. And with 5 tackles, 4 fouls, 1. A guy that basically, he looks like a different player than George Bello, of course, and seems like more heavily involved on both sides of the ball, really. More polished player. Definitely a guy who's hungrier to make things happen. Was he perfect? I wouldn't say he was. He had a perfect game, but he definitely had a lot of people's eye. Definitely deserved the man of the match, and I think he still could improve. Like there's some levels that he could achieve with us if he continues to kind of glean a lot of maybe that insight from Gonzalo Pineda. But in terms of anybody else that maybe we haven't given some plaudits for, who else do you think had a really solid game that no one's really talking about?
I guess we did mention Tyler Wolf for that first goal. I think just overall getting the start, again, another young player that and this is the thing too, like, this is why so of course, like, we're European Football Club fans, right? And we sometimes you see the thing where you have these like expensive backups basically, or these people who like ride the bench, and it's like, what value are they really bringing to the club? That spot could go to a homegrown player, and it's like, and so like I think that the academy should also be used to fill out the roster in general. And so like a little bit of an injury crisis in the midfield, you insert Tyler Wolf, and he's able to put in a creditable performance. And so even if his playing time decreases over the course of the season, you still know you have somebody who you can turn to, or it doesn't have to decrease. Like, he can prove himself. So it's really encouraging from him. Trying to think of who else stood out. I guess
for me, George Campbell definitely is a guy who he stepped in, didn't seem to be too phased by too much. I don't think the goal that SKC scored was really on him, even though anytime the other team scores, you generally the whole defense really is to be blamed. But I don't think he was actually directly I think to blame. But George Campbell definitely looks super duper solid. Not only chasing down some a really fast player that was in the forward line for SKC as well, but in terms of on the ball, there was at one point he was pirouetting and holding off a player on the sideline. Definitely he was he was showing his stuff, his prowess on the ball, and that's part of his player profile, is that he's a former midfielder. He's a guy who can do those things on the ball that maybe not every single center back can. And he definitely showed it in this match, and hopefully even if Alan Franco maybe might come in for the next match, I don't think we're gonna be too worried when George Campbell does have to come in. But he may have to come in.
sorry, just real quick. Yeah, he may have to come in the summer. You know, if the interest in Miles Robinson is real and somebody comes in with a pretty decent offer in the summer, I mean, I think the club would have to at least consider it. And you know, one thing I will say too, just going back to talking about the left backs real quick, I think the front office, I think, deserve credit for how they've I guess handled the position. You know, like they held out with George Bello for, you know, I guess for a length of time, and you know, a certain offer that they were comfortable with. And in the meantime, they had another player on loan ready to go, and then you have a young player come up and kind of fill that spot as well. And so, you know, if they're doing the same thing, or at least like in terms of the center back position, right? If they're able to move Miles Robinson on, have Campbell come in kind of smoothly in that regard, you know, I don't know. I hope that's what they're doing, but I just wanted to say that as well. I think that they, at least for game one, it seems that for left back, it seems that their moves have worked out so far.
Right. And so hopefully that is the case. May it continue. And yeah, just to wrap up this match, and yeah, basically the minute one tribute to Christian Carrillo for the fallen Atlanta United Academy goalkeeper who unfortunately passed away in a tragic accident. That definitely was very poignant, I think, and great to see, you know, the team, you know, give, you know, that tribute to, you know, someone that is one of our own. And yeah, the team also wore a black armband in remembrance, and so I'm not sure how long they'll do that, but yeah, definitely classy stuff from the club. But yeah, and so wrapping up the match, let's get into the news. And so yeah, real quick, we'll hit these real fast as we can anyway. But yeah, it pretty much as expected, Jurgen Damm, his contract was bought out. It seemed like a little bit of a standstill where Jurgen Damm was like, yeah, I intend to play out my contract, and Atlanta United are like, yeah, no, we're trying to shop him. But essentially, yeah, it came to the, I think, obvious end of yeah, Jurgen Damm, where yeah, as an Atlanta United player, just wasn't cutting it in terms of salary and production. And as, you know, big of a, I think, you know, social media star he is, at the end of the day, it's the on the pitch production that's the most important. And so, you know, we thank Jurgen Damm for the entertainment, the content, but yeah, unfortunately, in terms of production, can't say that there was too much from the Mexican, and you know, sometimes that's just the way it is. But I'm glad that the team actually recognized what they needed to do, and so they did and exercised their one-time buyout clause for Jurgen Damm. And yeah, I mean, you have any final thoughts on Jurgen Damm?
No, not really. I mean, like the team did what they had to do, so you know, no surprises here. It's what's done, done, and you know, everyone can move on now.
Right, indeed. And unfortunately, another player that has yeah, kind of moved on from at least potentially being an Atlanta United player is unfortunately Luca Martinez de Puy. Cesar Luis Merlo reported that he will not play for Atlanta United after all. The Rosario Central player, yeah, would have been a U22 kind of DP for us, but alas, Rosario Central, they didn't accept the offer, and it was for a 1 year with a purchase option, and yeah, there was no consensus from the board for that club, so yeah, unfortunately, he will not be joining us, and they actually are going to look to renew his contract. So, yeah, you know, it is one of those where, yeah, we miss out on the player that maybe was one of our targets, and so, you know, in terms of a direct, you know, forward depth for Atlanta United after Josef Martinez, it will have to be Dom Dwyer and Jackson Conway, and maybe somebody else that does come up after that. But it seems like we'll be going with the incumbent. But and speaking on those players that were out, we definitely had a bunch of players out, unfortunately, and that's kind of what made it even more kind of encouraging and impressive rather. Against Sporting KC, because you had the likes of Thiago Almeida that was still out. Marcelino Moreno didn't even start the match, but he did contribute when he came on. Santiago Sosa and Franco Ibarra, they're still getting kind of visa/green card paperwork settled, and you also have Lennon, who actually had to come on, and but he was in terms of a guy that I think you would have thought maybe sure, he was previously a winger, but he would be probably battling it out with Ronald Hernandez for the right back spot. But he came on as a winger and finished out the match. And you see some of that flexibility in the squad for sure. So you definitely have guys that we'll see more time that are coming back hopefully soon. It would just be a matter of when. It's a little bit of, they missed a lot of preseason, so they're gonna have to try to get up to speed quick, or maybe take a month to be able to get back into it. But you also have Chol and Mulroney out with injuries. It's there's just a shit ton of players that are kind of out of the squad at the moment, and
right.
You would expect contributors for sure. And so as well, getting into the final bit of news, Jose Martinez, he makes the MLS Team of the Week with those 2 assists, and it is well deserved there. But that does it for the news and gets us into the match preview for the weekend. It will be March 5th at 6 p.m. It will be against the Colorado Rapids. It's a sister club to Arsenal, and who is my club. If you didn't know, but basically, Stan Kroenke, they just won the Super Bowl. This whole thing, I mean, I pretty much wish ill will towards any of his other clubs, because he's one of the worst owners in sports for a reason. Yet, his teams are doing well, in a sense, which I think it's a kind of a luck into sometimes.
Even Arsenal.
Even Arsenal to a degree. We're not maybe exactly where we want to be, but we're doing all right. But in terms of the Colorado Rapids, they just recently played LAFC, and they're in terms of a club, they are surprisingly, if people have forgotten, they won the West last season, and they had 61 points. They were a team that's definitely they definitely were a club that surprised a lot of people. Now, unfortunately, there were some very key departures for them, and one of them being Kellen Acosta. Definitely a guy that's maybe a bit of a surprise, but he also was a player that, he basically probably should be playing in Europe or somewhere else, but basically they didn't accommodate that move for him, and so now he's at LAFC. But and then also Cole Bassett, as well as Yunus Namil. In terms of key acquisitions, Brian Acosta, he comes from FC Dallas, and so definitely a guy that should be helping them quite well. And in terms of I think the surprising bit here is Marc Anthony Kaye coming in for them.
Yeah.
Definitely, of course, you know, a good player for LAFC, and definitely a guy that's will make them better as well. Now, yeah, it's one of those where will it be the same? Will without Acosta? I mean, you have K in there, and then yeah, you do have in terms of the squad. You do kind of wonder where the goals are going to come from in terms of it's maybe they lack that go-to goal scorer, but it's a side that's dangerous nonetheless. So in a lot of senses, the predictions from a lot of the MLS writers have them finishing as high as third and as low as fourth. So it's expectations are higher now after having won that West, but seems like they're not having them kind of be the out and out winner of the West again. Oh, sorry, I misspoke, but they had it at eighth, as low as eighth, but still it's a pretty large spectrum actually, but still most of them have them as third and fourth. But so they figure to be a team that should be making some waves, maybe not as consistent as last season, definitely with some changes in their lineup, but so getting into that weekend matchup, well, LA United, let's kind of get through that starting 11 prediction, what we think in terms of LA United could do and could start out there. But Guzan, of course, who is going to be the captain again for LA United. But getting into that defender line, who do you got?
So I think it'll be, I can't imagine us doing a change just yet. Of course, Campbell and Robinson played well together. The fullbacks did a good job. So I think we'll see the same back four of Hernandez, Campbell, Robinson, and Gutman. Don't mess with success. It worked well game one. And so I think we'll see them again.
Right. And I think, you're spot on. I think it's also, kind of get the other guys, with some match fitness too. Seems like, these guys are the most fit at the moment too anyway. And so, work those other guys in, and, sometimes these things just kind of work themselves out as well. But in terms of the midfield, who do you got?
Similar mindset. I think especially, Colorado, as we mentioned, we have to respect them. They are the reigning West champions. And it's their, I believe, home opener, and so I think having Sadic and Alonso is probably makes sense. And then for Hatsetu, to be out there to retain the ball. So I think you roll with that same midfield three again.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I think it was maybe not the most I know Gonzalo Pineda did talk about how he thought it was quite creative in that midfield, but I think it lacked a little bit of the incisiveness, the final ball, but I think all of them are fairly smooth operators on the ball, and so that definitely was helpful, and hopefully we can kind of rein in maybe that yellow card parade that was in the first match a little bit too. So Alonso, hopefully he can he went to ground, and it was a pretty ugly tackle. He deserved that yellow card that he got, but
Right. Yeah,
but,
and that's his profile. Yeah,
that's definitely his profile, and hopefully, it is. Maybe just whatever it is in this match, maybe not as much. Don't leave that leg dangling just as much as he was this time. But But yeah, for me, yeah, I agree. That same midfield. And yeah, into the forward line, who do you got?
Oh man, this is where we got to make the changes, right? Because I
Yes.
wish I could. Can Araujo have my hamstring? I mean, modern medicine has come a long way. I'm sure we can figure it out.
Right. Clone your
So,
hamstring, something. Yeah,
so I think so. Moreno came into the match over the weekend, and I think we will see him. And I think Dwyer has to come into the lineup. So I'm curious to see what the setup will be. But my front three is Moreno, Dwyer, and Martinez. Just based on fitness and I guess a little bit of form as well. But I am curious to see what that looks like.
Yeah. Because, yeah, I mean, obviously when Dwyer came on, he played more on the right wing a little bit. Yeah, Gonzalo Pineda did mention after the match that, yeah, they hadn't really practiced a two-striker setup. And he believes that Dwyer could play on the right a little bit. Now, yeah, I don't have Dwyer coming in because I think Josef Martinez still needs to be kind of worked his way into some fitness too. So we do need someone to be able to spell him. So I think, yeah, you have Josef Martinez up top. That's the easy pick. With the wings right now, that's where we don't really know. And yeah, I think Wolf does persist. He's got the match fitness, and I think Moreno does start the match, and maybe yeah, somebody else comes on for him in somewhere in the second half, and that way maybe you do have Lennon come on after that, or just to build up that match fitness for both, and so that they're both ready. But yeah, seems like both of them could do the job there. It's kind of a little bit of toss-up. It's whomever is more match fit at the moment, and I would
Pretty much.
I would kind of guess that kind of Lennon has that engine to be able to be he definitely, I think, exceeded my like fitness expectations of him last season. So definitely, I think as long as he doesn't have any niggling injuries, it will be somebody like him maybe first off the bench. But yeah,
I think that would also. I think Lennon's a good shout to start a right wing if because I think we can expect Atlanta to play on the counter in this match for sure. To Colorado being at home, being one of the better teams in the league. They're probably gonna be expecting to possess quite a bit, and so yeah. I'm curious to see if how much we embrace this philosophy. I feel like when we think of Atlanta United football, we definitely think of like the team more on the counter than anything else, especially 2017 and 2018 a bit. And so with the game versus KC, as the match went on, and of course, we were up 2-0 at halftime, which again, like that's another thing too. Like the goals coming before the half is something that we did not see enough of last season. So yeah, being up 2-0 at halftime, and then of course trying to see out a match. Of course, KC naturally, I guess you could say, ended up finishing the game with a lot more possession. But yeah, I'm just curious to see, I guess, how we come out in this match. When and how we choose to press, and what the overall approach is. So,
right.
And I guess we'll see that a bit with the starting lineup.
Right. And yeah, it's definitely a good departure from last season as well, where maybe we conceded late, and we drew ultimately, and dropped points from a winning position. And so definitely we changed that a little bit in terms of narrative so far in that first game. So hopefully we can continue to do that. But that leads us right into what our score prediction is going to be. And so, Mark, what do you got?
I was feeling bullish. At this current moment, something is just telling me I think it's gonna be 2-2. I think that, and I'm gonna say this too, I feel like we'll be in a winning position at one point. But I don't know. I just think Colorado will be tough, and I could see them like finding a way. So I'm gonna say this one ends 2-2.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll take 4 goals. That's definitely some entertainment. Yeah, I'm kind of in the opposite. I think we're gonna kind of struggle to find, kind of how to break down this Colorado Rapids team for a little bit of time without Araujo to start. Definitely to set the tone to run at that back line, and so it'll definitely be interesting to see how we cope with that. Because yeah, it will be something that we will have to figure out. But yeah, I think the Rapids will get an early lead, and then that's where we can come back at least and level it. And I have it at 1-1, unfortunately. But draw from both of us. I think a worthy point if it does happen on the road against a tough side. I would take that, most times out of 10 anyway. So, yeah, what do you guys think? Let us know in those comments below in terms of score prediction, lineup prediction. Let us know. But, guys, that's pretty much the entire show, except for the question of the day. And the question of the day is, well, how much are we going to miss Luiz Araujo in the lineup? I mean, who knows how long he's going to be out, but hopefully not too long. But yeah, who's going to be the guy that starts for you in his place? Let us know in those comments below. We're interested in what you have to say. But guys, that is the episode. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. For Mark, I'm AJ. Thank you so much for watching.